We've been making wine since 1993 when we first opened, and you're looking at our original vineyard planted in 1986. So this farm right here used to be entirely cherries. You may have heard you're in Traverse City, we're the tart cherry capital of the U.S., producing about 75% of the nation's tart cherries. So back in the day, all this used to be cherries. All the vines you see out here were cherries, as was our farm. In 1980 was when we actually bought the farm from Detroit area. So my dad's from Detroit, mom's from Grand Rapids. They have a bit of a unique history to themselves as well. They had prior careers, if you will.
Yeah.
My dad was a Catholic priest for about 12 years.
Wow.
And my mom was a home economics teaching Galician sister for 20 years.
Oh.
So, got married after leaving those careers, but not leaving the church by any means, and decided to follow my dad's dream, which you're looking at. Chateau Chantal is a vineyard, a bed and breakfast. We offer European-style hospitality and welcoming people right into our home. They live in an apartment above the tasting room, and of course our cellars are here as well. So it's a pretty extreme multi-use building that we have going on. It was the first of its kind to be built in the north area here in Michigan, and a lot of work to get that done with our local partners here on the Michigan Peninsula. It's a pretty special piece of land, about 18 miles long, 5 miles wide. It is surrounded by east and west Grand Traverse Bay of Lake Michigan, and without that water we wouldn't be growing the different varieties of the grapevine, which we do grow. So we're making Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc, little Pinot Blanc, lots of different blends that we put together to make about 30 to 35 different products depending on the time of the year. We do still stay true a little bit to the heritage here and make a cherry dessert wine called Cerise, and we also have a still, and we distill whole pressed cherries into a cherry eau de vie. So you can't have a winery in Traverse City.
You gotta pay homage to the cherry.
Gotta do it. So, in the 1980s, we moved up here, found this beautiful piece of property. I think it was, the story goes, my dad was cross-country skiing out here one day, came up the hill on his skis when it was all just cherries, and saw the view for the second highest spot out here on Old Mission, and said, this is absolutely it. This is the spot, without a doubt, this is where we want to be. Toured around Europe for just under a year in the early 80s, learning how that European hospitality comes about. Certainly we don't have 400 years of history here, but we have the familial experience that people come to love when they come to see us. Our bed and breakfast now has 11 units, up from 3 when we first opened. So we've expanded over the years. We just had a recent expansion in our cellar. We'll go check that out. A new 10,000 square foot addition has been added, as well as some new tasting room space and a beautiful east view patio that people can
How would people find your wines that don't live up here in the area?
Our wines are only available in Michigan and a little bit in Chicago through distribution, but we do ship to about 13, 14 different states.
Okay, so they can just order direct.
You can, yep. Our website is chateauchantal.com. There's a store right online that you can make your orders through.
Are you guys currently looking to branch into other states, or how's it going?
Well, our production is about 18 to 20,000 cases,
Yeah.
and that's enough to feed the demand right now out of our tasting room and through our distribution channels of current. So over time, we don't have a plan to expand and be a giant wine producing farm. We'll stay in this small enough range, so perhaps we'll expand to other Midwest territories that are familiar with us, but no immediate plans to go national, international even.
There you go.
At all. So you're here out in the Riesling vineyard at the moment. This is, like I said, that original 1986 vineyard. It was also planted to Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and we make a couple reserve wines in this vineyard that we'll taste a little bit of today.
Cool. Let's go check out some vino, I guess.
Here, more of an experiment than a recommendation to age our Chardonnay. That's not something we would say to do for that long.
92, huh?
This is one of our first labels, so it's just fun to see the old label, the original building before it was expanded. But certainly we've taken some Rieslings to heart off of this rack here.
Have you guys tried some of the 92s yet?
No, but I did have a 94.
How's it holding up?
Riesling. Great.
Really?
It's fantastic. And that's such a good component of growing in such a northern cool climate.
You get that acidity, the acids, yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And in great years, you can really get something that ages very well.
Cool. That was interesting.
Sure was. I'm not really sure what that's all connected to, but
she's like, I'm not even sure that sounded very good.
Yeah. We'll go a little bit in reverse order here, but
that's fine.
Of course, the finishing product here with our bottling line.
And how many cases can this do?
1,500 bottles an hour.
Okay. And
came from Italy. It's nice when you buy something like that, they actually send a guy from Italy with it to help you set it up and you learn how to use it.
It'd be funny if it came with a note that said good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're off.
Right. Let me know how that works out for you.
Exactly. We have a little demonstration of what we used to do, certainly by hand, when we were a bit smaller. You'd have a filling station to fill 6 at a time, come through and have the cork go in 1 bottle at a time. There would be a capsule shrinker with heat, and then you'd label it all by hand. So this is a dramatic improvement, not only in time, but also sanitation. There's a lot of steps here that clean the bottles, inert gas pushes out any oxygen, and it's been a wonder for us. Very technical thing though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need some help with that guy. So now we jump into our latest expansion. 2010, we added 10,000 square feet of production area. And that's basically because our old cellar was absolutely completely maxed out. So we were well due for an expansion in terms of the wine production area. You can see here is our German still, where we, for the most part, distill cherry brandy. And we use that in a couple different methods. We'll bottle it on its own, 40% spirits, cherry eau de vie. But we also blend it with our cherry wine to make a dessert product called cerise, which is a big hit. We've had that for years. It won a few nice big competitions.
I have noticed people up here tend to like the sweet wines.
Yes, our best-selling wines are definitely sweeter wines. Top 5.
I think it's true of the entire Midwest, not just Michigan.
Yeah, I would say that holds true.
And most of the South.
We do make some great dry wines as well.
But when I worked at Pacific Rim, we did this. It was a red sweet wine called Sweet Bliss, and it was specifically targeted for markets in the South. And they sold the living piss out of it. I mean,
as you would.
Yeah.
Sure. We have 2 red wines called Naughty and Nice. Naughty is the drier version, and Nice is the sweet red version.
Those are great brandings.
It works great. Yep. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. This is a neat feature of the cellar here. Looking down below into a barrel storage room. So this is a pretty unique attribute. No one else in Michigan has such a great sub-cellar, naturally temperature regulated, being
it's the best way to go if you can do it.
So far. That's right.
Good humidity and everything.
Yes, it's perfect. It's working out really well. It's not the whole size of this place. It's probably just kind of this.
So my question is how'd they schlep the barrels all down there?
There's a serpentine forklift drive outside that door.
Okay, I was going to say.
Garage door. Yeah. It looks treacherous otherwise.
I was like, I'd have hated to have been that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got a job for you here, Bob.
Yeah, hey.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah. So we're going to get everything prepped here pretty soon for harvest.
Yeah.
Harvest for us usually is about October, depending on how the season goes. 2009 was one of those super cold years for us. We didn't pick until November.
So you guys are using some bladder presses here?
We sure are. We've got our crusher destemmers here, our 2 bladder presses here for the white wines. And the idea behind this hole in the ceiling here is to drive our grapes up top, dump them through the hole into the hopper of the crusher destemmer, and then if it's going to be a barrel fermented wine, it'll just be gravity fed down below to the barrel storage room.
See, that's interesting. When I was at Pacific Rim, we also had a Wilmus and a DMA.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, that's fun.
Same brands too, I know.
Yeah, you know, it certainly by no selection, things just come to you in your hands when you need them, you know what I mean?
At a certain price point. And,
That's right. We got a good deal on the new one. that someone had ordered, I guess, and they turned out to not be able to pay for it or want it. So it was already in Michigan, and they're like, oh, well, can we just sell it to someone in Michigan? So we got a deal.
That's good.
It is.
Because those aren't cheap.
No, indeed. That's for sure. The majority of our wines are stainless steel fermented. We do use oak barrels. You saw a few downstairs. I think you have a few more around the corner here. But we use mostly French, a little bit of American oak in terms of our
No Hungarian? No Hungarian?
We did in the past a little bit before, but we have two winemakers. Mark Johnson, who was actually trained at the Geisenheim research station in Germany in the 80s, and he's been with us before the beginning here. And the younger guy, Brian Hosmer, is an MSU, Michigan State University grad. Cool. He's been here about 5 years or so. And Brian has been really focusing on the barrel program and has decided to use mostly French and American. He's been doing some great experiments with, putting a Pinot Noir in 3 different styles of oak barrel and a great blending program and making some nice, unique Pinots that are pretty interesting.
To check those out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of cooler climates. My personal palate, I love higher acidity, lower alcohol. I think they tend to be far more food friendly.
Well, you got it, exactly. You're definitely in the right spot.